Okay, so this video is going to be about matrix multiplication. We're going to use the dot product quite a bit, so if you need a review of the dot product, please go back to the lecture where I talked about dot products, or look through your textbook a little bit, or maybe ask me about it in office hours and we can talk about it then. But I'm just going to use it now so that we can compute this product in a short amount of time. So the first thing I want to point out is that our matrix A here has a size 2 by 3. And the matrix B here has a size 3 by 2. In order for us to multiply these matrices together, like A times B, we need the inner dimensions, which is the columns of A and the rows of B, to be equal. So by inner dimensions, I mean if we write 2 by 3 times 3 by 2, we need these two numbers to be the same. The result of A times B is going to have the size of the outer dimensions. So whatever this equals, it will be a 2 by 2 matrix, because that's the outer dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this down. And we're going to start computing this matrix. So let me just rewrite the matrices again for this product. So we've got 1, 2, 0, negative 1, 3, 1 times 3, 2, negative 1, 1, 1, 0. And we know that the matrix we're going to get will be a 2 by 2 matrix. So I'm just going to draw a 2 by 2 matrix with empty spaces. And we're going to figure out how we can fill in those spaces. So the way to do that is by taking dot products. So notice that I have, I'll do this in a different color, I have the first row is here. Oh, sorry, it's the first column. The first row is here, the second row is here, the first column is here, and the second column is here. So I'm going to use this information to compute each of these entries. Okay, so what's going to go in the first row, first column, will be the dot product between the first row of A and the first column of B. That is going to be this entry here. And remember that a dot product between two vectors, this is a 1 by, this row vector here, the first row of A, is a 1 by 3 vector, and we're going to multiply it by the column of B, which is a 3 by 1 vector. That's going to give us a 1 by 1 matrix, which is really just a number. So that's why we'll get a single number in this spot. So we'll do the dot product. Let me get a new color. We're going to do the dot product of the first row of A times the first column of B. That will give us the entry in this spot. So to do this dot product, we do 1, 2, 0 times 3, negative 1, 1. We're going to multiply 1 times 3. That'll give us 3. 2 times negative 1, so we add that. So plus negative 2, that's 2 times negative 1. Plus 0 times 1, so plus 0. So that's going to give us 3 minus 2, which is 1. So the first entry here is a 1. Now, when we go to the next spot, so maybe we want to compute this spot next, that is the first row. So first row, second column. That means we're going to need the first row of A times the second column of B. Whatever row you're in, this will be the row of A that you use in the dot product. Whatever column you're in will be the column of B in the dot product. So the first row of A and the second column of B will give us the entry in the first row, second column of the product. So I'm going to go ahead and circle those things. We're now going to compute the dot product of the first row of A times the second column of B. It's 1, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0. So now we have 1 times 2, that gives us a 2, plus 2 times 1, that gives us a 2, plus 0 times 0, plus 0. So we get a 4. So in this spot we'll have a 4. Okay, now I'm going to move to the second row, first column. Second row, first column means I'm going to multiply the second row of A times the first column of B. So let me grab the second row of A and the first column of B. So this is going to be negative 1, 3, 1 times 3, negative 1, 1. And again here we do the negative 1 times 3, will give us a negative 3, plus 3 times negative 1, which is also a negative 3, plus 1 times 1. So in the end, this is going to give us negative 6 plus 1 would be a negative 5. So in the second row, first column, we took the dot product of the second row of A, the second row of A, first column of B. That gave us this spot. So that gave us a negative 5. And finally, the element in the second row, second column of the product is going to be the dot product of the second row of A and the second column of B. So let's compute that. Negative 1, 3, 1 times 2, 1, 0. Okay, so we'll do negative 1 times 2, that gives us a negative 2, plus 3 times 1, that gives us a 3, plus 1 times 0, which gives us a 0. So we add these up and we get 1. Last entry here, when we multiplied the second row of A times the second column of B, we get this entry here. Okay, I hope this example helped you understand matrix multiplication a little bit more. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in class or in office hours.